Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Eat, Sleep, Fantasy Football Podcast. My name is Dale. Thanks for joining and downloading and watching everywhere. iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, even more, I guess. There's a lot that we're available on. Today is going to be a fun day because Clayton Cadu is here. Clayton, what's up, man?
What's up, man? Sorry about my voice. Just kicking a cold here. It's not COVID, but just trying to get rid of this.
Look, you don't need to tell us if it is or isn't COVID. Like we're not with each other, so I don't get offended if you're out here with COVID. It doesn't matter.
Hey, just want to make sure that everyone knows I'm healthy outside of this cold. I'm lacking sleep because of the newborn. Whatever, we're good. We're ready to talk some football. Let's go.
So don't pay attention to anything Clayton says for the next half hour.
Yeah. I may fall asleep. I'm not sure.
So we're gonna have a good time today because one, we have a great, really good interview with Bob Lung, the organizer for the Fantasy Football Expo that's coming this weekend. I'm going to talk about Draft Night Out, which is going to be really fun. If you guys aren't familiar with Draft Night Out, make sure you head over to draftnightout.com. Basically, a big draft party, simultaneous drafts. I can't even say the word. I don't know why I try. Drafts all at the same time. We're going to do that and have prizes and stuff like that. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Make sure you check it out. It's in Kenton, Ohio this August 14th. 15th. So check that out. We're going to go through some news and some notes and some fantasy football relevancy to what you need to know. Again, I'm struggling really hard this offseason because we're doing basically a show a week, and there's so much in flux. Like, I don't want to give information and then date this information the next day because somebody signed somewhere else. It's really hard to do until after the draft. When everything kind of settles down, we know who's who at least a little bit. But we're going to push through it. We're going to have a good time. Don't forget, check out My Wife's Mad at Me podcast, by the way. Mad at Me pod on Twitter. And I don't know how you find it on YouTube. I guess I got to get a link or something because you just type in Mad at Me, My Wife's Mad at Me, and like nothing comes up for my
probably the way you got to figure out what the name. It's not what's the actual name of the podcast on YouTube. Like when you look it up.
Yeah, My Wife's Mad at Me. But nothing, like, it comes up with a bunch of like stupid stuff. So I just got to find the direct link and have people go there. But you could find it on iTunes if you type that in or whatever, or Spotify. By the time this airs, I'm going to have episode 3, which is a lazy man's guide to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, which is fun. I did that with Pat Lane. Basically broke down, if you don't want to watch all 22 films, you just watch 10 and you get the whole storyline. It's a lazy man's guide. So that was fun.
Perfect.
Anyways,
perfect.
Yeah. Because I'm not watching all fucking 22 movies.
Not a chance. Who the hell has time for that anymore? Nick's the only guy that has time for that.
Yeah. He's like, hey guys, I just watched all 22 movies for the third time in a row.
I did it all weekend long. It was awesome.
Yeah. He had no kids. He has a dog to worry about. And his wife's at work. He's like, you know what I could do if I had a couple hours of nothing? You have no idea.
Do you watch that guy play poker, man? The dog just drops the ball on his lap and he just throws it. That's all he does.
Yeah. That's Nick's life.
And eats chips.
Yeah, that's all he does. He doesn't. I would be way fatter if I was him. That's for sure.
Oh, 100%. Love you, Nick.
Anyways, guys, this is going to be a good one. I just have a feeling because Clayton did some good prep for us. So Clayton, I'm going to turn off my mic and it's yours for the next 20 minutes.
Well, not great prep, but there's a few big signings here. There was a bunch of signings that aren't really relevant, like a Joe Flacco signing with the Eagles. Big deal. I mean,
oh, you know what? I meant to tell you, I got a text from my wife. She listened to the first episode, the O Canada episode.
Oh, and, okay.
She said, who's this Canadian guy? And I said, it's Clayton. And I said, you've heard me talk about him. He goes, oh, his voice is cool. I like the Canadian accent. I'm like, okay. So yeah, I thought that the Canadian accent was like nails on a chalkboard, but apparently not everybody feels that way. So,
oh, you're thoughtful. Okay. This voice is probably nails on a chalkboard, but anyways, like a couple big signings. Big one that came across this week was Mike Davis signing with the Atlanta Falcons. Nice spot for him, signed on a 2-year deal. Now the Falcons are lacking in the running game. Todd Gurley's not signed. They're probably not going to re-sign him. Davis stepped in had a solid performance last year, filling in for CMC. So I like him to be be the top dog in Atlanta. They're most likely going to probably sign a running back, but he doesn't really have much behind him outside of Brian Hill and Ito Smith at this point.
I mean, a lock for a top 24 running back, don't you think?
Yeah,
depending on, right today, if everything started today, you'd be a top 24. Pretty easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe even better than that. Top.
What do you think about Damian Williams now signing with the Chicago Bears? How's that going to affect Montgomery?
And it just shows that they don't have a lot of faith in Montgomery, right? I think obviously there was flashes last season, right? People were kind of getting excited about him here and there. If he's given the volume, he's all right. Now, hopefully, maybe their quarterback change up this year could change things for the running game. But it just shows you they don't have a ton of faith in David Montgomery to be, the 3-down back, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be curious to see how this plays out, because what happened was Williams sat out 2020 with, due to COVID, right? Didn't want to play, which is fine.
Right. Yeah.
And then we saw Darrell Williams step in and pretty much took his job right away from him.
Mm-hmm.
So we saw Williams the year before. He put up solid production, Super Bowl, won a Super Bowl, was very dominant at the position. So it's going to be curious to see if he still has that a little bit of burst left in him, and if he does, it's going to be scary for Montgomery owners this year.
Yeah. Yep. All right. Yeah. No, I agree. What else you got?
Another big one was the Kenyan Drake signing with the Raiders. I just read yesterday the Raiders are planning on using him as a versatile running back / wide receiver.
Whatever.
My concern there is, in the 2 years that he was in Arizona, the guy only averaged 5.8 yards per catch, and his efficiency was horrible.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure. I think it's a really bad signing on Drake's part, because I still do think he's a very good back. I just think he needs to be in that kind of that role as a 1A, 1B kind of guy, kind of like him and Edmonds worked last year. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's going to be the case with Jacobs. Jacobs is the guy there.
Yeah, it's weird. And I'm curious to know how quick, if they make a change, it will. Would they make a change away from Jacobs? Are they? I don't think Jacobs has lost his job.
I don't think he has. I think what they're trying to do is just maybe they're going to try to make this a 1A, 1B, try to make it a 1A, 1B situation. Mm-hmm. I just don't think that they have the right 1B guy in Kenyan Drake. Yeah. You know what I mean? Jacobs has burst, has elusiveness. He's good. He's a good running back. The problem with that is he's not a Kareem Hunt. You know what I mean? He's just like with Arizona, and the fact that I'm shocked that they didn't re-sign Drake, to just run that similar role. They had a very good run game last year, mm-hmm. working with both him and Edmonds. So now they're going to put Edmonds in as that, that 1A guy. Well, he wasn't really great when he was put in that situation. So I don't know, kind of backwards, but is what it is.
Yeah. By the way, you say Falcons really weird. I guess that's how Canadians say it.
Falcons.
You say Falcons.
Falcons.
Yeah, there you go.
That sounds weird.
Anyways, that the Drake and Jacobs, Drake and Jacobs is going to be interesting.
It's going to be. It's going to be.
Who do you bet on? Are you betting on Jacobs here?
I'm betting on Jacobs. I think you're still going to be able to
both of their values. Right?
Yeah, I think you're going to be able to roll Drake out as a flex play, because he's still going to get a handful of touches a game.
Okay.
So if you're going into drafts and you see he's just falling down your board, then why not take him in the deeper rounds if he lasts that long?
Sure. Before we move on, I do want to remember. I want to remind. Man, I am off my game today. I don't know what.
You are. Sorry.
It's dreary outside. It's kind of rainy. Anyways, 5-minute member, hashtag 5-minute member. There's not a lot of competition, and we're going to give something away. So basically, every time we post anything on social media or YouTube or anything, respond within 5 minutes, hashtag 5-minute member. To do that, you probably want to turn on notifications. So as soon as we post, you can go and hit hashtag 5-minute member. I'm getting some cool shit. I'm looking around my office. I'll give stuff away here if you want me to, So, anyways, look behind me. Hey, look, you can pick anything you want behind me. I'm joking. I should go through everything one day, everything that you see behind me, because that's some cool stuff. Gator. Anyways, where were we? Did I interrupt you?
Yeah, we're just talking about signings or whatever. But outside of that, those are pretty much the big running back signings. Outside, like Matt Breida signed a 1-year deal with Buffalo. Not really a big deal. We saw what he had in the tank last year in Miami. Samaje Perine re-signed. Pretty much that is it. Oh, James White re-signed with the Pats as well. So that's he's still going to go back to that same role. You know what? Did you ask Pat on your other podcast what his thoughts are about the Patriots this year?
No, I didn't ask.
No,
I should have.
I'm actually curious because I don't know. They've done a lot so far in order to be good next year. So it's going to be interesting to see how they are.
I mean, we're forgetting that they have an all-time Hall of Fame, probably one of the best coaches of all time, still there, and so you can never count them out, right? I mean, they're pretty much a lock to be a playoff team. And they made some good moves. I mean, they kind of had a hangover last year. It seems like, I mean. They didn't know what their exact identity was. They didn't know what they needed, and they figured it out maybe. And I think the Patriots are definitely a playoff team.
Yeah, they did what they needed.
They're playing
to do
the Dolphins.
So
they're playing the Dolphins and Jets. I think, come
on. And then outside of that, as far as receivers go, T.Y. Hilton re-signed with the Colts. Good signing for him. He did turn down a lot of money. Did turn down some money with Baltimore. Now, when you're a Baltimore side of the ball, how are you thinking, man? You've tried to go after like 3 receivers.
Dude,
and they all signed elsewhere for 1-year deals for less money.
Why? Is it a Lamar Jackson thing?
I think so. I think if I'm going to sign there, especially if I'm going to sign a 1-year deal there, there's no way you're going to get paid. You're going to get paid afterwards because the fact that they don't throw the ball enough.
Yeah. Right.
So I think this 1-year deal re-signing with the Colts is good. I think Wentz could make T.Y. Hilton relevant again.
Definitely. 100%. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I'm kind of excited about the Colts team. I mean, I've kind of been like a secret Colts fan a little bit. Over the years, they've had a solid O-line for a couple of years now. I mean, they're doing some work. I'd much rather be a Colts fan than a Dolphins fan. That's for sure.
My only concern with that is there is a run game only because they got so many mouths to feed back there. Now that they signed Marlon Mack again.
Fantasy wise, I get it. It's a mess, right? We're not 100% sure. Mack is healthy now, and did he completely lose his job to Jonathan Taylor?
Who knows? And then you got Nyheim Hines, who's still going to have his passing down role. So who knows? I
mean, last year we drafted Jonathan Taylor thinking, hey, if Marlon Mack and Nyheim Hines go down, this could be a good. And then what do you know? They go down, and it's Jonathan Taylor time.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. So.
Outside of that, as far as other receivers go, no real big names. Brashard Perryman with the Lions. Josh Reynolds signed with the Titans. The good old Texans, my good old Houston Texans, we locked in Chris Conley. Woo!
Wait, so you're a Texans fan still?
No, not anymore. I can't do it. I'm looking for a new team. I'm going to do my research and find a new team this year. But the problem is I have a bunch of Texans jerseys. I got a JJ Watt jersey. No, he's gone. Watson, we won't touch on that. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah,
bad.
The joke is there. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, exactly. So, but anyway,
we don't make jokes about this stuff here.
Yeah, I know. It's bad.
No tolerance.
That's fucked up, though. I'm really curious to see how this thing ends out with him.
Yeah,
it's wild.
I am going to make a joke, but it's not to joke about. Yeah, it is pretty crazy.
It's definitely. Yeah. So I would say, and then just some news to touch on. Tom Pelissero. How do you say his name? Pelissero of the NFL Network.
Are you drunk? I feel like you've been drinking this morning.
No, it's just water, buddy. Don't worry. I've been smashing cold medication though, so maybe that's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
But Giovanni Bernard, there's been talks, multiple teams interested in him in acquiring his services. Now, if that does happen, that just, that goes back to my Joe Mixon going into solid top 5 performance. Might not be that bad of a take. That's what I said. I said that
horrible take.
No way.
Because Giovanni Bernard is gone. Now Joe Mixon.
I've already said that. I said I could see Mixon finishing as a top 5 back this year. if everything goes into play, if they fix their, I mean, they got to fix everything, but if they fix their O-line, if they get a good O-line, and then if you take Bernard out of the picture, now Mixon's a 3-down back.
You know what you just said? You said it's like you go into the junkyard and you get a car and you're like, hey, we just got to get new tires, a new engine, some headlights, and a steering wheel. And this car's going to be gold. This car's going to be a race car. That's all we need to do.
It's a possibility, right? It's a possibility. It's all that matters. It could happen. And as far as Kyle Rudolph finally got his contract signed after his physical showed up on some issues with his foot, he is going to be getting surgery this offseason, but is expected to be ready by week 1.
Nice.
No, outside of that, that's all I really got.
You know what happened to me the other night? Has this ever happened to you? Okay, so I mean, we're about the same age. We're probably. I want to call it an addiction, but definitely like I catch myself just scrolling through like TikTok or Facebook or Twitter or something, right? Like especially like when you go to bed, like you just take one final scroll. Do you do that? Mm-hmm. So the other night, me and my wife are in bed, the kids are sleeping, and we're just both on our phones, not saying anything. And then all of a sudden, and this happens every once in a while, my wife's phone dies and she puts it to the side and she just rolls over and just stares at me. And she's like looking at me like, can you just get off your phone and talk to me for once? Yeah. And it's like, and then I look like the asshole. And then she just rolls over. She puts her, like this, like on the pillow, and she's just like looking at me. And of course, then I got it. Like my phone, I'm still 50% charged. I'm in the middle of scrolling here. I got TikTok to watch. And
it was Sarah. She usually, because I for some reason my phone's like always super bright, and she'll just sit there and grab the pillow and like put up a wall.
That's awesome.
And I'm like, fine, then whatever. But yeah, she won't let me watch TikTok anymore because she's like, bring your AirPods upstairs or something. I'm like, bring my AirPods up to whatever.
Right. Yeah.
So
I got you. But then all of a sudden, like she could be on for hours and not say anything. But as soon as her phone died, she's just staring at me, waiting for. Now I got to stop my scrolling because your phone. And then now I look like the idiot because she's like, maybe I'll try that. Talk to me.
Yeah, maybe I'll try that tonight with Sarah. Just pretend that it just died and I'll just stare at her like.
Yeah, exactly.
Like see what she says. She'll probably be like, "Oh, what are you? Oh, you're so cute. You're staring at the baby." No, I'm staring at you.
Yeah. Anyways, I guess, man, this is a quick episode because it's really not that quick because we talked to Bob. Should we? Where do we want Bob's stuff in the beginning? Yeah, let's do Bob.
I think Bob put Bob's stuff in the beginning. That was a great interview with him. So
okay, all right, cool. I got to figure out a way to. How are we gonna do that? Should I record something else or just put it in like a?
Or put it. Well, put it at the end then. Just say stay tuned for an interview. With Bob, right? We can
say it. Yeah, you say it.
What?
Say it.
No, you say it. You're the guy.
All right, stay tuned for a great interview with Bob Lung, the organizer for the Fantasy Football Expo in Canton this summer and August. Make sure you check it out. Don't forget draftnightout.com if you want to be a part of the drafts with us. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of fun. Is that good enough for you, buddy?
That's perfect, man. You nailed it.
Well, I'm not cutting any of that out, by the way.
Shit.
Right. Minutes or anything, we're just recording it, and I'm going to put it in our next episode. We had a little bit of time today to kind of knock this out in the day. Clayton's home with a baby, and I'm at work kind of between, I guess you would call it a lunch break, but that's what we'll call it. All right. Cool. Before we get started, anything in specific that you want me to talk about, or we could just talk about the expo and what we have going on?
Let's talk about the expo, about the nonstop schedule. So get a lot of sleep before you get there that weekend because you're not going to get any. I'm not going to get any.
We're really excited about it. All right. Yeah.
Oh, I wish I could be there. Unfortunately, I'm stuck in Canada across the border. We're not allowed to come back there. So.
Yeah, but you got to believe they'll open this up before August, won't you?
So. I hope so.
I'm still waiting for vaccination. That's what I'm waiting for. First off, so we'll see what happens.
I just got my schedule for my first one next Friday.
Nice.
they opened it up to 50 and older. That was 2 weeks ago. And I'm like, okay, when is it's going to happen? Then they're like, oh, we're going to open it up to everybody. I'm like, wait a minute. I haven't even got mine yet. You can't open this up to everybody. What the hell?
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I got priorities here. I'm old.
All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. On the show with us. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. No, I'm way off because I'm not even using my microphone. Sorry, guys. I'm glad I caught it now. Just 1 second. Sorry.
This should sound a little bit better. All right.
That's better.
3, 2, 1. All right. On the show with us today, it's a very special guest. I know you guys have seen us tweet and talk about a Fantasy Football Expo coming in Canton this summer. So we have special guest, organizer, and big brains behind it all, Bob Lung. Hey, Bob.
How's it going, guys? Thanks for having me on. Always honored to be on anybody's podcast.
Sure.
It's cool to be able to come out and just talk about the excitement that is the Fantasy Football Expo. That's been hyped more than I could even have imagined. I knew that there would be like some excitement about it, like, okay, cool, we get to do stuff. But man, I am so pumped about everybody's excitement and, you know, you guys jumping in to do the draft nights out. This is exceeded expectations within the first 3 weeks. So that says a lot.
It was a little bit of perfect storm. I know you did this, and we actually didn't get a chance to go out the first time around right before COVID. Yeah, right. This is a perfect storm because everybody's ready to get out of the house. You know, everybody wants to do something. This fantasy football community is very tied with each other, especially on Twitter. And so, you know, we're kind of all like, hey, we can get out, we can meet each other. So just that, the podcasts and the bloggers and the writers and everybody gets a chance to actually meet face to face. It's a perfect ideal situation. Canton, is not central of, all of US, but at least central for the East Coast, I'd say. So
that's definitely one thing that, Canton is like drivable from basically, Chicago and Philly and, New York. And I mean, it's a long drive, but it's drivable if you wanted to do that. But it's also short flights, shouldn't be horribly expensive. You can fly in Akron, Canton, which is only like 5 minutes from the hotel. It's a little more expensive to fly in there than it is probably Cleveland, which is only an hour away. But
I'm in Greensboro, North Carolina. I think I'm going to drive. It's like a 6-hour drive, but
exactly.
You consider the airport time and getting there and parking. It's it's going to be 6 hours anyways. I might as well be in my car and listen to some podcast.
Yeah. So no, I totally agree. And, that's what makes little Canton, Ohio. I've lived here all my life. This is my hometown. This is, my world. My 3 daughters have always been like, oh, I can't wait to get out of here. This is awful. I can't, And I'm like, I don't think you realize how cool it is here as a male who loves fantasy football. I get it as, now my youngest daughter plays fantasy, so she loves it. But, the others are like, oh, God, get me out, So they live in Columbus because, it's cooler down there.
Sure. Before we get into the expo, because I've been wanting to ask you something. The Hall of Fame, I saw, and I think we talked about it a little bit, you're a driver during that whole weekend there. What is that like? Like, I know you've been involved in it for a while. I'm sure you meet some awesome people. What is that experience like?
That's so I started 30 years ago. My buddy, my best friend, got on it a year or so ahead of me because he was working with the person who was kind of like that committee head at the time. So he gets on. 2 years later, they need more drivers, so he gets me on. And it's certainly more restricted. Like it used to be pretty wide open, like the hotels, people could come in and they had a hotel bar and it would be packed because people would be there to see the Hall of Famers that were all, down in the bar drinking and hanging out. But that was 1990. That doesn't happen now. But when you're on the inside, it really is, it's a whole different world. And, and everybody says it's got to be amazing. And I couldn't agree more. What people don't realize is how hard we work doing that. Because people think, oh, this is great, man. You just show up and drive these guys and hang out with, Peyton Manning and Kurt Warner, and like this year I have John Lynch, and I've had I've had Al Davis, John Madden, and they're like, oh my gosh, but it's also you were their personal guy all weekend.
Yeah.
So like they used to do the enshrinement. Well, they usually do the enshrinement Saturday night, and then they would have the parties for all of the players. They each have their own personal parties right on the grounds. So we would just cart them right down to these tents, big tents, depending on how big the party. And this would go to, they were supposed to stop at 2 a.m., but you tell Michael Irvin to stop a party at 2 a.m.
Sure.
Or Emmitt Smith or Jerry Jones or whoever.
During our weekend, especially. Yeah, right.
In fact, the wildest one was Marshall Falk, who brought in Snoop Dogg, 50 Cent. There was another rapper. 5 a.m. Before they finally got the last person out of there. Sure. Now, that would be fine, except the fact that we get up on Saturday morning, which is the night before, at 5 a.m. to get our cars to drive in the parade. So we're up 24 hours, nonstop.
That's great.
Now, they've spread that out and rearranged things so it's a little bit easier. But again, when you get older, so 2 years ago, and they obviously didn't have Hall of Fame last year. 2 years ago, I had Champ Bailey. Super nice guy. Fantastic.
That's awesome.
Problem is that, he's younger than me. So he's mid 40s. Sure. Of course, his second wife is 25. And so I was up every night till 4 o'clock in the morning, carting them around to various parties and Waffle House. And, so by Sunday, I, combined total 10 hours of sleep.
Right.
In 5 days, 4 days.
That's crazy.
And, so you live on adrenaline, but holy cow, when you crash at the end of that thing, but like I said, I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't trade it for the world. It's because you're on the inside. And because of that, I also don't have any, I don't get giddy like I used to about the fact that, oh my gosh, there's Emmitt Smith. Oh my gosh, there's Jerry Rice. There's,
Yeah.
My first few years driving, when you start, you kind of get, I call it the prison van, the 15 passenger, big Yoder Toter type vans that you drive everybody, you just kind of go to a spot and a bunch of family members and stuff get in, you take them back. And, so the first few years that I was driving, the ESPN crew had 6 or 8 people that every time they had to go somewhere, they had equipment and, they were doing things. So Chris Berman, Tom Jackson, and Mike Tirico and those guys, whoever was in for the weekend, I would always jump up and make sure they got in my van. Right. And so I obviously became friends with Chris Berman, and he nicknamed me Aqualung, which is kind of cool. So I have my own Chris Berman nickname. And about 5 years in, we'd sit there and chat about ESPN and how cool it is. And Chris Berman's like, hey, you guys should come out and visit the facility. We're like, yeah, right, sure. Yeah. Now, Chris is the nicest person you'll ever meet. I mean, I don't care who you're. And I'm like, okay, he's just being a nice guy. Okay, yeah. So I said to my buddy, I go, you know what, next year, let's call his bluff. Let's see what happens. So next year, again, same thing, conversation. You guys should come out. We're like, okay, when? Oh, he said second weekend in October. The foliage is amazing in Connecticut. If you fly in and, you take care of your own flight, hotel, all that, you can meet, you can spend the whole day Sunday with us at ESPN Studios. Okay, we did. And I videotaped it all. And it was probably the greatest non-sexual male fantasy ever.
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually toured the campus, and it's amazing.
Yeah, and I'm sure it's 10 times bigger and more. There was no security then. You just drove into the parking lot, walked in the front door. I don't think you can do that now. That's
awesome. I mean, the campus is so amazing. I mean, going and seeing in real life. I mean, of course, I think anybody who's I guess in TV probably already knows this, but you get to these sets and it's so surreal to be on the Sports Center set and look around and holy cow, this is
it is cool.
It was so cool. Okay,
so that's kind of the thing. It is exactly what you think it would be, but it's also a lot more work than people I think give it credit for. And But like I said, it's, I'm never going to stop. I mean, at some point we think our job will go away because they're building this village around the campus of the Hall of Fame. And they're going to put their own hotels, their own convention centers, their own everything. It's going to be like a village like Cooperstown.
Right.
My thought is when that happens, basically they'll just have limos pick them up at the airport, bring them there, and then they'll just take care of them all weekend, and we'll be out of a job.
Right.
Which is fine, because in 5 or 6 years, I'm going to be 62, 63 years old. It's time for me to probably retire after 35 years of doing this.
Right.
But yeah, it's been a blast, and I can tell stories till tomorrow.
I bet. Okay, so I'll just ask you one question. You don't really have to go into detail if you don't want, but sometimes I meep people or see people on TV and be like, man, like he could be my friend. Like I feel like we're in tune. We can. Who have you met, or have you met somebody like I don't know, like Warren Moon or something? Be like, we could be friends if we actually hung out a little bit more.
I would say, wow. I mean, most of them are super nice guys. I could probably count on one hand that I would not want to spend more than 30 seconds with.
Yeah.
Because of their ego, because of their lack of attention. You
going to give us a name or no?
If it has to be a Hall of Famer, give me another minute. If it's any person, I'm going to go Chris Berman.
Yeah.
I mean, Chris Berman's the kind of guy that could show up to your barbecue and fit right in. He never talks about himself. It's always about you.
That's cool.
How's your family? How's the wife and kids? Where's your daughter going to school? Daughter's going to school. He, if I say, oh, Chris, I saw you on the show and blah, 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 and it was awesome. And man, that was really cool. And he'd be like, oh yeah, thanks. And he goes right into about you.
That's cool.
So that's the guy I would definitely pick. Hall of Famer wise, there's just so many good ones. I would have to say Brian Dawkins. I had him 3 years ago. Just super nice guy. Could easily just hang out with you, and
that's cool.
Just a good dude.
Yeah, cool. All right, man. That's awesome. All right. So the Fantasy Football Expo going on August. Was it like August 14th, 15th that weekend, right?
It's that weekend. The actual expo itself is on Sunday, August 15th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. It will be held at the Doubletree Hilton, which is in downtown Canton. This is where everybody's staying. This is where the expo is going to be. We tell everybody to come for the weekend just because we've got a weekend full of stuff. And you guys are a part of that. The Saturday afternoon draft night out, all kinds of great leagues to be in. There's a sign up for you guys, and you guys can tell the official website there. But honestly, if you come in Friday night, I mean, we're going to start drinking then. And then Saturday is, we got the Kings Classic for us guys are in that. And we've got you guys doing your drafts. We've got the big party, which if you don't come for anything else, come for the party. Because the guys from Fantasy Affairs, they are the sponsor of the party. Brian and those guys. Brian is a professional, competitive, I didn't know there was a competition for this, bartender. Nice. And he's been a national competitor bartender for like 8 years, worked in Vegas, now lives in Hawaii. When I talked about, hey, what do you guys think about sponsoring the party? I literally think he jumped off his chair like, what a great idea. Let's do this. And so he's got all kinds of things planned. He's working with various vendors, like to have special like handouts. Like he talked about the Captain Morgan girls coming, a cigar distributor is going to be there passing out free cigars. It's going to be a frat party. That's why I called it. I said, I'm more worried about needing enough bouncers. Like I'm going to have some of the bigger, all these guys that are in the FFF fit thing. They're going to be my bouncers, like Troy and some of these guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm worried that some of these people are going to drink way too many White Claws from what I hear. And it could be wild, but I'm looking forward to it. And then, of course, the expo on Sunday, and there's going to be a expo after party Sunday night too. So we haven't made the announcement. We're still working out the details on that. So just say Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night, you get the same discounted rate. So, if you got your tickets, great. And, if you're an exhibitor and you haven't got the link, let me know and I'll send you the discounted rate link. But pretty good deal on the hotels.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, no, I mean, and being in Canton too, it helps with the pocketbook a little bit. We're not going somewhere that's crazy expensive. Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, if you can get maybe 10 hours of sleep all weekend, I think you're doing pretty good for the Fantasy Football Expo weekend. Yeah.
I'm taking Friday.
I really need to figure out a way to get across that border, guys. Give me some ideas.
I mean, I saw Super Troopers. Doesn't that work?
Yeah.
We'll try to figure something out.
Dig a tunnel. I don't know. But yeah, we're really excited. Like Bob mentioned, draft night out. That's going to be on that Saturday afternoon, I think from noon to 4. Still working out a little bit of details, but you can go to draftnightout.com and sign up. And at least that secures your spot in one of the drafts. And basically what we're going to do, and we've done this a few years in a row now. We've done it in Dallas for, I think we've done it for 3 or 4 years in a row in Dallas before COVID. And then we're excited. So basically we're going to host, hopefully, maybe 7, 8, 9 drafts at once.
Nice.
We're going to, everybody's going to intermingle with each other. So the drafters can talk to each other across the room. And, there's giveaways. There's, going to be signed sports memorabilia to give away during the draft. Prizes for the league winners. I mean, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a nice little party within itself on Saturday afternoon to get you ready for Saturday night. So we're excited to be part of this, Bob. We appreciate you, including us and having us be a part of this because I think the expo is going to grow and grow every year, and we're excited. Right. I guess technically we didn't get down on the ground level, but I think we're getting in early enough where we're going to really see this thing grow and. You get a lot of excitement on Twitter right now, which is exciting.
Yeah. If I can expand on the growth idea. So as I mentioned, the Hall of Fame is building this village around it. Right now that ballroom that we'll be in is probably the biggest hotel ballroom in the town. Again, it's Canton, Ohio, not New York City. But once this village is done and they have their own hotels and their own convention centers and their own places to hold things, which will have much, much more room, the idea is that we will grow it so that we can grow, from 2 to 300 to 2 to 3,000 to whatever.
Right.
That will show up for the weekend and enjoy lots of different things and unique stuff. So I've already spoke to the vice president of events at the village and discussing, what maybe we could even do next year. They won't, I don't know if they'll have the hotel done yet, but they are going to have this kind of loge suites at the end of the football stadium that is also available for parties. Hint.
That's awesome. Yeah.
One of the cool things about that is that during the party, we're allowed to go out on the field. Throw some footballs around, kick some field goals, hang out. So
awesome. Yeah.
That might be an opportunity for next year. Maybe that'll be Friday night's event. I don't know.
Right.
But as they continue to expand, we'll continue to expand, which means this is kind of unlimited. This is where we're at, and this is, but where we go from here is really just
sure
what we can put together here in town. And I look forward to it. I mean, this has always been my dream, living in Canton, seeing the Hall of Fame, being a part of the Hall of Fame, being a part of this fantasy community. I always said, why would we not have fantasy football's greatest weekend in town? Mm-hmm. Because, a lot of people haven't been to the Pro Football Hall of Fame, which, you get that as part of your ticket package. And if you don't get to go this weekend because you're hungover all the time, you can use it. It doesn't expire. So you can come back if or go Monday before you leave, whatever. So it's not just for Saturday. We're telling people to come Saturday because we'll be there drafting the Kings Classic. So if you want to stop by and say hi, that's cool too. So that's part of the weekend. But yeah, I mean,
yes,
yeah, the sky's the limit. There's really no limit to this thing. Once we continue to figure out what everybody likes to do. And the whole time I've told this to the Hall, this is why we're not doing stuff at the Hall of Fame, is they're too expensive to do stuff.
I can imagine. Yeah.
And I said this to the village right up front. I go, look, the only way this will not be here is if you overcharge all of us, because we won't do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, we're all a bunch of people who 99% of us don't do this as a full-time job.
Right. Exactly.
You know, this is coming out of our hard-earned work money to come to these events.
Right. We're not talking to corporations, you know.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, you know, I actually did an event 5 years ago at the hall. The idea was to bring in 5 of the top experts, and they brought in 3 Hall of Famers. And they, you know, they were all about it, and they thought it was a great idea until they said, well, we figured we'll charge about $399 for the day. I said, no, you're not. And they were very serious, because they're like, well, here, you know, we're going to bring in Dan Marino, Chris Carter, and Bill Polian. Like, all right, well, I mean, that's an impressive group. You're still not going to get $400 for these people to come to this event.
Sure.
So anyway, long story short, what they ended up getting was, no disrespect to these gentlemen, Warren Moon, Anthony Munoz, and Chris Dolman. A little bit different than Chris Carter, Dan Marino, and Bill Polian.
Yeah.
So anyway, they dropped the price down to $99. I think we got about 50 or 60 people. It was a very cool event. I mean, I brought in John Hansen, Mike Clay, Bob Harris, and David Dobb from Football Guides.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, I had basically 5 of the top guys in the country. And like I said, it was a very nice event. People wanted me to keep doing it, but the next year the hall wanted. You said they needed like $30,000 in revenue out of it. And I'm like, you only have room for 300 people in that place.
Right.
How are you going to get, you know? And I'm like, like, okay, that idea's done. So again, I went around them and, you know, created this on my own and decided, well, we're going to do it our way, keep the costs down, make this affordable, make this something everybody wants to do every year. And, you know, and, you know, it's not about the money. It's about getting together and sharing our community and, you know, having a good time and hopefully helping out people that come in from the outside that want to meet, you know, people and talk about, you know, hey, I'm in an IDP league or I'm in a dynasty league or, you know, and listen to people on stage, ask them questions, come to their booths, get coupons for their site so they can get discounts.
Yep.
You know, just
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So, all right, Bob. Well, again, we appreciate it. For those wanting to get into the Fantasy Football Expo, thefantasyfootballexpo.com. I think he's on Twitter. What is it? At the FF
Expo, because you can only do 15 characters.
Sure. The FF Expo on Twitter. Bob is very active on Twitter there, so I'm sure if you have any questions, he can get back to you pretty quick usually. Again, man, I appreciate your time.
Thanks,
looking forward to all this stuff and get
that border open.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it. Absolutely.
Because I know there's other people like Matt Donnelly from Dynasty Vipers, and I think there's quite a few up in Canada that would love to come down. I mean, have you heard anything at all of a potential date?
Nothing. We're so far behind in what's going on right now as far as vaccinations and anything's happening. So, I mean, here in Alberta, we're talking about going into a lockdown again. So I have no idea what's happening.
Jeez, you people need to stop hanging out in bars together. That's all.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right,
no kidding. That's pretty much what's happening right now. So
that's where Matt lives, isn't it? Is that where Matt Donnelly lives? Isn't he live in Alberta?
I'm not too sure, actually.
Dynasty?
Yeah.
Dynasty Vipers?
Yeah, I do know who he is. Yeah, I do know who he is. I'm not 100% sure, though. I should look that up because that'd be close. That'd be really clear. That'd be good.
I swear he did. Yeah, double check that because I swear that he's mentioned Alberta multiple times. Because isn't Alberta like way on the other side? It's like West Coast side, right?
Yeah.
I swear he lives over that way. So check that out. Yeah, I'll have to. In fact, he was asking me about doing a show like this too, and I'll have to hit him up and say, "Hey, do you know these guys?"
I just looked up his Twitter handle. He is in Alberta here. I should reach out to him. I wonder where in Alberta he lives.
There you go. Maybe he's watching this. You guys.
He has like 34 kids, so it'd be hard to tie him down. He's like the Philip.
I'm not far behind him.
Okay, you guys are like the Philip Brood because you have nothing better to do.
Right? What else is there to do in Alberta? Come on, Bob.
We just went through a year of COVID, man. What else is there to do?
Netflix and chill is just a daily event.
There you go.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, Bob Lung again, man. Right, appreciate it. Guys. Yeah, we'll be talking to you soon, buddy.
Okay, thanks, man.
Bye.
Take care.
Five-star rating if you haven't already. If you didn't like what you hear, that's okay. Oh man, do we talk about hot dogs now? No, I guess we'll wait till later. There's a big hot dog debate again on our Facebook private group.
I did see that about the best kind.
We're arguing about the best kind of hot dogs, and they all kind of suck. Like how do you look? The difference between a good hot dog and a bad hot dog is like nothing, right? Like they're all just mushed up animal parts.
Yeah, did I tag the group in that one thing that I saw on? I don't even know what it was. It must have been on TikTok or something like that. It was like a guy cut the wiener up in two and then split it apart and then cooked an egg in the inside.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
That's fucking weird. No, it's not interesting.
Hot dogs are interesting, and they're way more debatable than you think. Like there's a lot of intricacies into hot dogs and hot dog making and what you can do to hot dogs and what hot dogs can do to you. It's debatable. So anyways, guys, I'll leave it there.
Yeah, that's good. Let's leave it there. Carry on with your day, Dale.
Eat, Sleep, Fantasy. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks, guys.